Aubrey Plaza. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
How excited are you to see the theater?
Oh my God. What?
So, John, the first question, of course, is how this come about, but really the question is, they say write what you know. How was this story really personal? How did you draw from your own experiences?
Yeah, well, that's easy. I mean, I got out of grad school with a tremendous amount of student debt. Actually, I got out with way more debt than this character did, and I realized that I couldn't actually use like my amount of debt in the movie because the audience like wouldn't believe it. And I felt like a huge amount of just like anxiety and fear, and at a certain age where you don't really know how to deal with those things, and I just kind of funneled all of that feeling into this character. I also knew that like I'm not like alone, you know. I knew that this isn't, I don't know, realistically maybe like a year or something to truly get it going.
All right, so Aubrey, when you got it, what did you think? What was your first take on the screenplay?
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of like the movie where it's just like, there's a momentum to the script, like it just like goes, and I was just surprised by it. Like every turn, like even the first scene, I was like, oh, is she going to walk out? Okay. She's just gonna walk out, okay. And then it's like, oh, she's gonna go back and she's gonna tase the guy, okay. And then like, oh, she's gonna take the car, she's gonna, after you punched her, she's gonna, okay. And so like every step of the way, I was just like, damn, like she's just gonna keep doing her thing, and it's rough.
She keeps going. She really keeps going.
So,
Gets deeper and like
yeah.
becomes more empowered as that happens.
Yeah.
So what was the first conversations that you had after you read it, and after you first like really got together and talked it through? What were those first conversations like? How did the first meeting that you had with Aubrey maybe change the script even more?
Man, I'm trying to remember.
It's been a long
It's
time.
been
It's been a couple of years.
It's been 4 years, man.
Wow.
Pre-pandemic times.
Pre-pandemic.
We met at the Dinosaur Cafe.
Dinosaur Coffee in Silver Lake.
And
I remember it was like 9,000 degrees, and I was going to a coffee shop to meet Aubrey Plaza, which felt pretty cool at the time. And I got there, and then she showed up, and it was really her. And then she sat down and started talking to me, and all I remember thinking is just like, wow, Aubrey Plaza's talking to me in a coffee shop. And like other people were sitting around and kind of just like peeking, you know, and I can't remember what you said. I just couldn't even concentrate on what you were saying. I was just sitting there just like, oh, I can't believe this person actually cares about some crap that I wrote. But then I think once we got comfortable with each other, your big thing was that you wanted to lean into our relationships more in the story. And I think that was the big thing.
that's true, yeah. That's true. That's another thing that I remember reading after I first read the script. I was like I really like this romance part of it, because I just didn't see it coming, and it's so rare that you're surprised by it. Like normally, the guy shows up or the girl shows up, and you're like, okay, they're gonna get together. But I was like, she gonna get with Yusuf? No, what? So that was another thing, and I love that. So I was like, I don't know, yeah. And I just, for me, like movies, like even if they're about something else, I just think when you have a love story in a movie, it's just so important, and for me, I just love that part of it, you know. So
yeah, she's really always like, she's scared of the whole situation, and then as the film is progressing, you see that she's attracted to that, you know. So it's a gradual progression to after the party when they kiss for the first time. But Aubrey, the thing is that you also produce this film. So what were the challenges there, especially with like getting the film off the ground, getting financing and all that?
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of challenges. I think like also when I first read the script, it seemed like, wow, we need, a lot of money to make this. There's car chase sequences, and there's set pieces in the movie that's kind of almost written in like an action kind of style at certain points. So it felt like a bigger budget movie to me, not huge, but so I think at first like our approach was like, well, we need to try to get like a really comfortable number to do this right. And that just took a really long time. And then we kind of, I don't know, like, John, we linked up with Tyler Davidson, who's the other producer on the film, and him along with John, and kind of came up with a way to do it right, but maybe not in like, with like all the money in the world, and it just felt like maybe we could pull it off. And so I would say it was a challenge just to get financing to begin with. It's always a challenge for small movies, and then shooting it in Los Angeles, it was a challenge because it's so expensive here, and we were shooting in all real locations and kind of underground parking lots and on the street with real people and in like weird open air markets, and just it was total chaos. But John and Jeff Bierman, the cinematographer, figured out a way to kind of shoot the movie in like a very kind of minimal, stylistic way, almost not documentary style, but just like in a more kind of verite style or something. So we were able to move really fast and get it done. But yeah, I mean, every day was a challenge. It's like a video game. Like every day we were like, there's enemies, there's winners, there's losers, there's mushrooms that need to be jumped on, and there's like people, like powers you can get from like charging whatever, and like so it was like a video game of levels that were escalated to the point of like, I don't know.
So what your challenge is your first feature film as a director. So what were the challenges for you in that respect? And also what were some of the films that you kind of liked and sort of like, yeah, I think I'm kind of going for that?
What were the challenges? Every single thing.
Yeah.
Like, that is an entire, like, there just aren't enough hours in the day for me to explain what was hard about this. But before this, I made a bunch of short films and, like, really bad commercials. Like, a lot of people, like, I made commercials and they're amazing, like, not mine. Right, and, like, music videos and stuff. And so I'd only shot for maybe, I think the longest I'd ever shot was 5 or 6 days. And then out. And when you have a schedule like that, you're kind of like, you never really get beat down. You never get like completely exhausted. So the big adjustment to this was like, just time. Just like day 4, day 5, day 6, day 8, day 9, day 17, day 19.
Yeah, we shot the movie in 21 days.
21 days.
Why 21 days?
And that includes
20 days in Los Angeles.
20 days in
1 day in Mexico.
One epic day in Mexico.
One epic day in Mexico where you got a lightning strike on camera.
Yes, we did.
That was cool.
Did you know that?
I mean, you're watching the film and I'm like, how cool, like, what a great moment. You got the lightning strike. I mean, like, you can't plan for that.
Yeah, oh my God, we've never even talked about that in any interviews. You're the best interviewer that we've ever had. I'm serious. I forgot about that. That's actually one of the most insane things that happened during the entire shoot, is when we shot on that beach, there was a full-on thunderstorm, and that shot where it's here and it's me in profile, we kept the camera and we just waited. And remember I said, I was like, just wait, everyone, just wait, it's gonna happen again. And I was acting like I was a witch, and I was like, I'm saying it now, it's coming. I mean, I literally was going like, I'm talking to the clouds, and we fucking got it.
You got the shot!
So, you know what I mean?
That was really cool. It's like the last thing you see before the credits. But so 21 days, 20 in LA, 1 in Mexico, and you're shooting this. Like, when exactly was the shoot? Like, what point?
I think we wrapped exactly 1 year ago today.
Oh my God.
We wrapped the movie a year ago today, so we shot it in July, August 2021, and we cut it like.
Yeah, that's true.
That was wild.
You wrapped in August.
We were doing the lightning thing right now, Scott. This is
Exactly. It was
crazy. Like,
the moon, you guys, the full moon last night. It was a super moon. It was a fucking sturgeon moon, and it's all happening.
and it's
bro.
lightning. You got it on camera a year ago.
Oh my God.
I think the best thing about
much.
lightning is like, so there's so many rules of shooting in California and in LA, and really the United States in general, and like, we were on the beach, there's lightning, and immediately, like, my director brain is like, oh, we can't do this.
Well, if we were in LA, they would have been like, and everyone goes back to the
yeah, they would have just like shot like a parallel.
Because you could die and get electrocuted. It's a camera's electrical
we're like,
thing.
can we just go walk around and do whatever? And they're like, yeah, yeah.
But for those 21 days, I mean, you know, so many of the filmmakers I've spoken to in like the last 6 months, 8 months, you know, they talk about filming during COVID times and how like your budget is doubled, your schedule is doubled because of all the protocols you have to follow. But to film a movie during these times, in 21 days, that must have just been really hard.
Yeah, and guess what? No positive tests. COVID ain't gonna take us down. And also, the COVID guy.
Can we tell the story? Wait, can I tell the story? All right.
Wait,
so
what?
We had this COVID guy who was like probably pretty new at the job, and I think very young. So wait, maybe I should say?
Okay, I don't know what you're gonna say.
Oh man, I don't know. Maybe I should play it safe now.
Okay,
I'm
just
so nervous.
all right. What? How I made him run lines with me?
Did you really?
Okay, never mind.
What about the prep?
Wait, no, you can say it. You can say it.
Okay, you tell the story.
No, I'm not.
No, say it.
Okay. So, oh man, sorry, roadside attraction.
It's in like the New York Times.
All right, the lawyer's here, right? Cool. So there was a COVID officer. He was very young, and we just weren't getting any positive COVID tests. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I think maybe like day 4 or 5, he was like packing up to go. Remember this? And I think didn't you grab him? You're like, where are you going? He's like, oh, there's someone else coming tomorrow. I'm all done. And you're like, no, you're not.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, the thing was, he didn't stick the thing very far up the nose. Like, really not far at all. And I like that. So I was like, let's keep that guy on the movie, because he's just not really sticking the thing up too far. Yeah, and you know, if they bring someone else here, they're going to jam it right up there. Everyone's going to have to go home. So we got the other guy. But no, it was all very safe. It was very safe and professional.
Incredibly safe.
When it came to, you know, the thing about shooting in LA is like, it's like you make LA as like a character in the movie. I mean, it feels like LA, and we all know what LA feels like, but this underworld with the credit cards and the fraud and the fake buyers, I mean, that was fascinating to me. So what kind of preparation did you do to, you know, sort of understand that world? Start with you, Aubrey.
I mean, not much. Like, everything was in the script. You know, I didn't like go on the street and like try to, you know, do anything like that. Although I would, but they don't let me do things like that. But I talked to John, obviously, who had done real research on these kind of, you know, these scam fraud rings and stuff. And I guess the only research I really did was when we had rehearsals the first 3 days before we started shooting. The prop master brought in the embossing machine, the machine where you make the fake credit cards, and I had to learn how to use it because we had a whole, you know, sequence on it where I had to like really. So that was cool. So I know how to make fake credit cards, and like I'm never gonna forget how to do that in case things don't work out. So that's like something I could do. I could buy one of those things on eBay pretty easily. And, I know pretty much how it goes down, but I didn't.
But you really got into this. I mean, I learned so much about this just watching this movie. So how did you learn about all this?
The real story is that I lived in a neighborhood when I first moved to LA, and I felt that there was some funny business going on in the neighborhood. I didn't know what exactly, but there were a lot of like fake storefronts, like medical supply shops where no one would ever go in or out, which is like a dead giveaway. Or like I remember they had a 97-cent store, and it had a half-filled bottle of Windex in there. Or there was an ice cream shop that never had any ice cream. Like you'd walk in and there'd just be some girl like, "I'm sorry, there's no ice cream." I remember thinking like sooner or later there's going to be some kind of. And then in 2012 there was this massive FBI bust, and they arrested like 90-some odd people. I won't say like what this organization was or who it was or what they were doing, but you could read like everything the FBI had charged them with online. And so I was so fascinated because it was literally people who lived on my street. I just went through it, and there was a lot of like stuff I wasn't interested in, like guns and drugs and things that just felt kind of like, I don't know, broad. But then one of the things they had done was this really elaborate credit card scheme that's very similar to what's in the movie, where they would just pull people off the street and pay them to buy merchandise with stolen credit cards. And I thought, who were those people? Like, who would ever agree to do that? That is wild. Yeah, so that's where that started. But then like the ins and outs of like how to commit credit card fraud is actually like, this sounds weird, but it's really easy to learn. You just like get on YouTube. There's literally like YouTube tutorials of like how to do it.
So I was sitting through the movie, okay, and I guessed the dog back. Thank God the dog lived. Oh my God, that would have been a disaster. Everyone applauded. Everyone applauded. So my question, Aubrey, is, so Emily starts off, she's not the warm and fuzzy type. She gets involved with this ring. And she gets further involved in it. She's making the wrong decision, but we root for her. And this moment happens where people are applauding, and that's like a turning point in the film. So why do you think that we are rooting for Emily?
I think because there's something relatable about just the feeling of being in a system that is just set up for you to fail. It's relatable. It's the world we're living in right now. It doesn't make any sense. I think Emily is a character that does and says all the things that we think, but we don't say or do. But it's like the things that we want to do. So it's kind of this aspirational kind of character in a way, even though she's so incredibly flawed and, maybe, she's not, quote, doing the right thing, but she's kind of doing the right thing, just for her soul, So that's how it feels to me, and I think most people can relate to that. And I think the movie just kind of hits a nerve in that way. The character hits a nerve because I think we're just living in a time that's really, really rough, for people out there. And the criminals are at the top, man. That's where the criminals are. It's just she says, you gotta make your own rules, or else they'll just keep putting you down, taking you down. So I think there's just something cathartic about watching someone fight back.
Absolutely. She stands up for herself too.
Yeah.
I love to see
It's
it.
about getting your power back. At least that's what it was about for me. It's just, getting your power back.
Let's talk about Theo Rossi. How'd you come to cast him?
Oh man, Theo, wonderful dude. So, real talk, we had cast someone else, and I won't say who that is, but something not great happened to this person about, I think, 3 weeks before production started. They got in a legal situation, and suddenly we had to make this really tough call. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna keep this person, or are we gonna, and the part is so difficult to fill because of all the boxes that person has to check. And then just Theo came out of nowhere. I must admit, I was not aware of who he was until the casting directors brought him up. And he was working on something else, and I was never able to meet him in person because of his schedule, because of COVID. And I remember just Zooming with him and you when you were in Italy, and he's in I don't even know where he was, Texas or something. And I was here, and we're all 3 different time zones. You're just hoping that it works out. You're hoping I have a good feeling about this person, but I just don't know. And I've never seen he and Aubrey together ever, pretty much until I started shooting the movie. It's a testament to just his level of professionalism and how prepared he is. He just executes. He's just laser guided, and it's so consistent. It's wonderful.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason. He was Yusuf. He just was. He was that guy, and it was supposed to be him the whole time.
Wow.
And he just brought his background and just everything that he brought to the table was so perfect, and it was just so obvious when we met him that it was him.
Emily is a complex character, and this is a role that is so different from anything you've ever done. It's also a very physical role. Like the scene when the guy breaks into her apartment, is holding the thing to her neck. So how did this challenge you like anything you've ever done?
Yeah, I mean, it was really scary because because of the physical challenge. I think because I've never really gotten to kind of play a character that's kind of really stripped down like she is, and I got to kind of try to create a human being that sounded different than I sound and moved different, and I think I feel like I'm a very kind of athletic person, but I grew up playing sports, and I'm pretty competitive, and I have that in me, but I don't think I've ever really gotten an opportunity to really kind of tap into that side of myself. It was all challenging, but I think it was just the script was so undeniably good that I felt like I was in good hands, and I felt like I'm just gonna surrender and let go and just try to be truthful to this in any way that I can.
How proud are you of the film? What do you hope people take away from the film?
Wow, I mean, I'm so proud of the film. Mostly I'm proud of the work that everyone did on it. One of the most moving things is when you've written something yourself and you're working on it alone, and then one day you're on a set and there are all these people working so hard and bending over backwards to put something into being that you thought of. It is genuinely one of the most moving experiences I've had. I'm certainly so proud of the actors, and especially Aubrey. Just watching her do what she's doing, you're just filled with gratitude. You're just thank you. I can't believe you're here, nonetheless that you're doing this. Wow, thanks. What do I hope people come away? I mean, the first thing I hope is people just enjoy the ride. I hope they enjoy the entertainment value of it before anything else. But then beyond that, I hope it does maybe encourage some people to think about just what happens when you have a system like ours. It's rare in the Western world that a country works like this. And I won't get into it too much because I'll start sounding like Bernie Sanders, but I do hope nothing's wrong with Bernie Sanders. But I do hope that it does get people talking with their friends and their families and everything else.
And for you, also because you produced the film, how proud are you? What do you hope people take away?
I'm very proud of this film. I think one of the most things I'm proud of the most is that we did not compromise. And I think what happens when you make a small film with a shoestring budget is you have to compromise. You start cutting scenes, you start cutting days, you start going, well, maybe we don't need this character. And for this script, somehow we just did not fucking compromise. We said, no, we're gonna keep pushing, and we shot every moment of that script. And that is what I'm proud of. I'm proud of the cast. In fact, I think some of them are here tonight.
Yes.
Bernardo Badillo, are you here? Yes, Javier, stand up, come on. Yes, that motherfucker right there. I'm proud of him. Roman, Michian, are you here? Roman, Roman. The guy that punches me in the face, tries to take me down, and you didn't because I maced you, and you lost. Who else? What? What? Yes, Lamar! My fellow dummy shopper! Lamar, fuck yes. I'm proud of these guys. I mean, shit, we pulled it off. The whole movie is like a scam, man. We pulled off a scam. That's what I'm proud of.
Well, you absolutely should be proud. I mean, it's a fantastic movie. So ladies and gentlemen, here's what we need you to do. Two things. First is stay seated so we can exit. But the second and the most important thing is now that you have seen the film, spread the word. And how do you spread the word about movies these days? I mean, of course you go on social media. So go on Twitter, go on Facebook, go on Instagram. You in the back, if you're still using MySpace, that's totally cool. But spread the word about Emily the Criminal. And thank you all for being here.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Thank you for everything.